On August 6th, SIL, 1945, a blinding flash over Hiroshima marked the first use of a nuclear weapon, ending World WWII with unprecedented devastation. Before the strike, Hiroshima was a thriving industrial hub of over 350,000 residents, its streets alive with daily commerce and civilian life. At 8 Ensman, the little boy born detonated, releasing energy equal to 15,000 tons of TNT, instantly vaporizing the city's core. The explosion killed an estimated 70,000 people instantly, with countless more injured, marking the deadliest single-weapon use in history. President Roosevelt guided the United States through most of World WWII, but his death in April 1945 left the war's final decisions to his successor. In August 1939, Albert Einstein, prompted by Leo Szilard, warned Roosevelt that Nazi Germany might develop atomic weapons, sparking the U.S. effort. In 1938, German scientists discovered nuclear fission, a breakthrough later confirmed by Austrian physicists, laying the scientific foundation for the bomb. The Manhattan Project's secret hub at Los Alamos assembled top physicists to design the uranium bomb, codenamed Little Boy. Oak Ridge, Tennessee, became the nation's primary site for uranium enrichment, turning raw material into weapons-grade fuel. Military planners projected 250,000 to 1 million American casualties in a full invasion of Japan known as Operation Downfall. In July 1945, the Interim Committee endorsed the bomb's use to force Japan's unconditional surrender and save lives. Physicist Otto Frisch reviewed the Franck Report, which urged a demonstration of the bomb before any city attack. Allied leaders met at Potsdam, issuing the July's declaration demanding Japan's unconditional surrender, hinting at overwhelming force. The Enola Gay, a B-29 superfortress, was armed with Little Boy and prepared for its historic mission from Tinian. Colonel Paul Tibbets, commander of the mission, reviewed the flight path to Hiroshima, ensuring precise target coordinates. The 10,000-pound Little Boy bomb was carefully hoisted aboard, its uranium core ready for detonation over Japan. The mission's flight path stretched 2,000 miles from Tinian, culminating over Hiroshima at 8 Sam on August. At 8, Little Boy detonated, unleashing a fireball that engulfed the city and rose into a towering mushroom. The bombing left over 70,000 dead, thousands more injured, and a devastated city struggling to survive amid rubble. The atomic bomb decision intertwined science, strategy, and morality, forever altering warfare and the course of human history. On July 31st, SIL, 1945, the B-29 Enola Gay taxied to the runway on Tinian, its crew ready to deliver the world's first nuclear weapon. July 16th, SIL, 1945. The Trinity test ignited a mushroom cloud confirming the atomic weapon's destructive power before it was ever used in combat. President Truman received the Interim Committee's recommendation, weighing the bomb's potential to end the war against its moral implications. At the Potsdam Conference, Allied leaders issued the July's declaration demanding Japan's unconditional surrender, hinting at overwhelming new weapons. Japan's leadership debated surrender, but Imperial Army factions insisted on continuing combat despite the devastation of conventional bombing. On August, Truman gave the final authorization to use the atomic bomb against Japan, setting a historic course. At 8 a.m. local time, Enola Gay lifted off, carrying the uranium-235 bomb codenamed Little Boy toward Hiroshima. Below, Hiroshima's bustling streets and wooden homes lay unsuspecting, unaware of the imminent flash of unprecedented energy. At 8 ms, M. Little Boy detonated, releasing energy equal to 15,000 tons of TNT, vaporizing everything within a 1-kilometer radius. Hahn and Strassmann's 1939 uranium experiments revealed fission, the scientific breakthrough that made the atomic bomb possible. In 1939, Frisch and Meitner interpreted experimental data, coining the term nuclear fission and calculating its immense energy potential. Meitner's insights traveled to Albert Einstein, whose letter warned President Roosevelt of a possible German atomic threat. The Franck Report, signed by leading physicists, urged a demonstration on an uninhabited area before using the bomb on a city. Operation Downfall projected massive casualties, with Joint Chiefs estimating up to 1 million American lives could be lost. General MacArthur reported fierce Japanese defenses, reinforcing Truman's urgency to end the war quickly. Colonel Paul Tibbets piloted the mission, believing the bomb would save lives by avoiding a costly invasion. The blast vaporized nearly 4,000 tons of material, creating a fireball hotter than the sun's surface. Survivors faced burns, radiation sickness, and the challenge of rebuilding amid endless ash and debris. On Augustus, Japan announced surrender, citing the devastating power of the new weapon. The atomic bomb reshaped global politics, prompting the United Nations to seek mechanisms to prevent future nuclear catastrophes. In June 1946, the United States tested atomic weapons at Bikini Atoll during Operation Crossroads, studying their impact on naval vessels and future strategy. The Strategic Air Command was created in 1947, centralizing America's bomber force and preparing for possible nuclear missions across the globe. On August 29, SIL, 1949, the Soviet Union detonated Ardez-1, its first atomic bomb, ending the United States' nuclear monopoly and sparking a new arms race. In 1950, the United Nations convened its first formal debate on international control of atomic energy, seeking ways to prevent another nuclear catastrophe. The Ivy Mike test in November 1952 produced the first hydrogen bomb explosion, a volcanic cloud dwarfing earlier atomic blasts and reshaping strategic thinking. President Eisenhower's 1953 Atoms for Peace address called for civilian nuclear cooperation, laying groundwork for the International Atomic Energy Agency. The USS Nautilus became the world's first nuclear-powered submarine in 1955, proving nuclear energy could propel vessels beneath the oceans for decades. Sputnik's launch in 1957 ignited the space race, demonstrating that the same rocket technology could deliver nuclear payloads into orbit. The 1963 Partial Test Ban Treaty, signed by President Kennedy, prohibited atmospheric nuclear tests, curbing radioactive fallout and easing Cold War tensions. In 1972, the United States and Soviet Union signed SALT-I, the first treaty limiting strategic offensive arms and beginning formal nuclear arms control. SALT-II, negotiated through the 1970s, aimed to cap strategic nuclear arsenals further, though it was never ratified by the U.S. Senate. President Reagan's 1983 Evil Empire address heightened nuclear rhetoric, reinforcing the United States' resolve against Soviet expansion and prompting renewed arms buildup. The 1986 Chernobyl disaster released massive radiation, exposing the catastrophic risks of nuclear technology and spurring global safety reforms. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 marked the symbolic end of the Cold War, easing nuclear anxieties between East and West. When the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, nuclear arsenals were inherited by newly independent states, prompting new non-proliferation challenges. The Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty opened for signature in 1996, aiming to ban all nuclear explosions worldwide, though it remains unratified by key states. After the September 11 attacks, the United States intensified security at nuclear sites, recognizing the heightened threat of terrorism targeting atomic material. In 2010, the New START Treaty was signed, committing the United States and Russia to have deployed strategic nuclear warheads over a decade. The 2015 Iran Nuclear Deal, or JPOA, placed limits on Iran's enrichment program in exchange for sanctions relief, reshaping non-proliferation diplomacy. In 2023, the UN adopted the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, a historic step toward eliminating nuclear arms, though